Live from Eorzea.
Limit Break. With your hosts, Aniero.
So for the love of God, woman, go make me a fresh batch of hurricanes.
Juxtaposition.
Remember the power, the regret, the confusion.
Eskalia.
Now behold the horror you have wrought.
LimitBreakRadio.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Limit Break Radio, a radio reborn. I don't know. I forget what the official designation for it is. A radio returns. That's what it is. Welcome to the show. I, of course, am one of your hosts, Aniero, and I'd like to welcome you to the first official episode for Limit Break Radio. Last time we wrote it off as kind of a pilot, and this is the first official show. So welcome, and we're going to be setting the standard here today, and we hope that you'll stick around. So joining me in the booth, we've got Eskalia Rayumasa. What's up?
Not too much. That was so much better than your first time with the intro.
I know, right?
It's almost like we're not dead this time around.
Yeah, exactly. And also with me, Juxtaposition. How's it going, man?
It's going. How are you guys doing?
Why is your mic so low?
I don't know. I'm talking into it. Is it on?
It is on.
Are you sure?
Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure you're talking into the right side? Because I feel like it's very loud.
What?
I can hear myself through it, but I can't hear you through it.
I'm talking into the microphone. Is there a special side to it or something?
There is, actually.
Juxta's not used to talking into the microphone. He talks in the background. He's just doing his best impression.
That side.
Well, it's the same side. It looks the same.
No, that's don't you hear the difference?
I don't hear anything in my
No,
headset.
I don't hear anything.
You're much louder now.
Okay,
that's
well,
good.
I'm glad, but yeah, I don't think my headset's on.
Mine neither.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I don't hear anything.
Why don't you guys tell me this shit before we start recording?
I thought we were going to do our test mic thing before, and then I could be like, hey, I can hear myself now. Good job.
Sweet.
Way to go, guys. Starting this off fucking professionally. Okay, one of the things that I wanted to address from the first episode that we tried to do a little bit, we did this from the old show, but we're not going to be doing it in this iteration of the show. I'm not going to be bleeping swear words, cuss words, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, fuck that.
It's a lot.
God damn it.
It's a lot of work, and I don't know if anyone noticed from the pilot, I missed like half of them. So I feel like
A failure.
Missed or
Thank
ignored.
you. Yeah. So forget it. It's not even worth it. I think we're mostly all adults here, and if children are listening, I don't know. Maybe don't do that. I don't know.
Try not listening.
So it comes with a warning that there will be language and
adult themes.
Right, and that it adult theme. Maybe in this contest that we have going on a little bit later,
LBR and PPV.
you'll want to stick around. We've got our very first contest. We're going to be announcing it a little bit later on in the show. That'll be fun. We're going to be talking about the live producer letter that happened sometime last week. I remember waking up very early to watch that, but I don't remember much of it. We're going to be talking about some of the stuff that Yoshi-P went over for the live letter. We've also got some more info for 2.1 and what we can expect when it's going to be dropping if you don't already know, plus lots to talk about. So in the old show, we used to do a little segment at the beginning called Host Updates, where we would just kind of bring you into our game world and share with you what we've been doing as characters, you know, as players of the game.
I got Lancer 15.
Do you want a party? What do you want? A cookie? What do you want?
I want everyone to know.
You need to wait your turn.
Lancer 15. Monk 20.
Ooh.
Pugilist.
Grats, I guess? Is that what you've been doing? Is that it?
Now, did that take you 1 or 2 hours?
2 days.
Oh.
2 days. Those are probably the only 2 days you've been logged in, haven't they?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been doing the whole little things when I was getting online, and then I would go and do the things, and then...
The things?
Is this going somewhere?
The stuff?
Got the things, it's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I
thank you for
don't know.
that.
I don't think that was an explanation for anything, but sure. All right.
Well, I got some really rare and exclusive gear that we'll get into a little bit later.
Oh, God.
Okay. All right.
And everyone's pretty jealous of me. So.
Glad you've been spending your time wisely. I'm so glad to hear. Okay, well, that takes care of Juxta. Eskalia, what the fuck have you been up to?
Grinding tombstones, and also I'm happy to say that Sargatanas server has just become like 400% more cool.
Yeah, I know. I'm already there.
Jeez. No, because I'm there. I have made the transition over to Sargatanas, where all the cool people now reside.
That is right. All the cool people are over here.
So if you're not on Sargatanas, what a loser.
Dude, right? What the fuck are you waiting for? We're all waiting for you.
We even have a link shell.
Come on.
And those are pretty rare and exclusive, so I've heard.
Yeah, it's hard to get into. You need a personal invite. No, you don't. So if you're on Sargatanas, you can find any one of us, any of the hosts for LBR over there. And so why'd you make the jump?
Well, I want to join the Limit Break Radio link shell, of course.
Yeah,
it's called Limit Break Radio, right?
No, it's called Laser Beam Raptors.
Oh, of course, the other LBR.
Yeah, right.
I made the jump due to incessant nagging.
That happens.
Yep. Peer pressure from people who may or may not be in this room. And most importantly, because Kalos said he would level Dragoon to 50 if I did within a week. So call him out, because I'm here. He has to level Dragoon next.
I don't think he put the week on there. I think you might have.
No, he said if you move within 1 week, I'll
within
Dragoon.
1 week. Within 1 week.
I had to move in a week.
I see.
And then
I was going to say I didn't think he was going to commit to leveling Lancer that quickly.
No. He said it would be his next job to 50.
That's a lot of grinding. I think it would exclude sleep.
Well, I don't know. You can level crafts that quickly.
Yeah, you can. Okay, so what have I been doing? So the last episode, I had mentioned that I hadn't caught up. I hadn't done any of the storyline. I finished the storyline. I've been grinding tombstones. I've got full dark light for my warrior. I finished my relic, so I went through the Ifrit, Garuda, and Titan hard modes. I am 2 weeks away from getting my +1 for the relic.
Nice.
Yeah. That's really exciting. And I finished my Dragoon to 50.
I'm sorry.
Well, I've decided that I should have one of each job, a tank, a DPS, or each role, rather, a tank, a DPS, and a healer. I haven't decided if I want to take Conjurer White Mage or if I want to go the Summoner or the Arcanist Summoner Scholar route. So that's going to be my next big level sync. I guess.
Clearly a life-changing situation. Will it be Summoner or Arcanist?
Well, I just don't know, man. I just don't know.
Dude, Summoners have pets. Level Summoner.
I know. And, I mean, the thing is I've never liked pet jobs. Like, even in 11, there's something about the mob mechanic that it doesn't click with me for some reason. I'm sure I could get
terrible.
I'm sure I could get used to it.
Beastmaster for life, yo.
When did you pick up Beastmaster?
Near the end.
Near the end, yeah. For life.
Yeah, for life.
Right,
for
exactly.
life, once it's not terrible.
Once it was the best job ever. Yeah, that's when. That was about the time.
So, all right. Well, that takes care of what we've been up to. Before we get into the bulk of the live letter here, I do want to share with all the listeners out there, in case you haven't picked up Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn yet, it is $14.99 at the Square Enix store. You can pick it up there. I'm not sure how long it's on sale for, if that's just a Black Friday, holiday weekend sort of thing, or if this is going to be marked down all the way until Christmas, but it's there for your purchasing pleasure. $14.99 at the Square Enix store. So go check that out. So last week was the live letter. Yoshi-P sharing what we can expect, about half of what we can expect in 2.1. And there was a lot that he went over. It was a fairly sizable live letter, almost lasting about 2 hours. And I kind of want to just briefly touch on what we can expect for 2.1, because I'm having a little bit of trouble understanding what the purpose of 2.1 is.
I think we can expect to be bored.
Yeah,
that's what I think we can expect.
I think so. So the first thing that he did was show off portions of the Crystal Tower, and this was the big kind of disappointment out of the Crystal Tower event. Alliances won't be able to form form player-specific alliances right at launch. They said that is a feature that they're working on down the line, but not going to be there at launch, and it's going to drop eye level 80 gear. So this is exactly what you said in the last episode, Eskalia, where it's meant to be the bridge between finishing off your relic or finishing off the hard mode primals and moving on into coil. But the thing is that it really only took 3 real days worth of grinding for me to get full heavy dark light, and I'm talking like accessories too.
They constructed an extension bridge to cross a puddle.
Yeah, it seems like one of the things that they're going to be adjusting to in this next patch is they're going to be adjusting the amount of capped tomestones that you can get, myth tomes, for the week. But if they didn't have that cap, a lot more people would be at eye level 90 gear, and it just seems like when you can grind out myth tomes, what's the point?
Right. Well, myth tomes have been their artificial extension of what they have available. Like you can't get them all at one go. That's why it takes longer. Therefore, the lifespan that takes to get through the game takes longer.
Which is shitty.
Yes,
which is just kind of a shitty design philosophy. Like, oh, we don't have enough content to really keep you guys playing for 6 months, so we're going to artificially cap what you can, the rewards that you can get out of it. I understand why they have to do that, and I understand why they're trying to extend the end game content. But if they really wanted to extend the end game content, there should be at least something beyond extreme mode primals for people who already have eye level 90 gear and +1 relics, because it's not like they're rare.
No.
People with relics and relic gear and relic +1s, they are not rare in this game. They're far more common than I think someone who is dicking around in the mid-20s or, leveling a bunch of jobs or, just playing it for the story.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, as far as relics go, can you beat hard mode Titan? That's all there is to it.
That's pretty much it, yeah.
If you can't beat hard mode Titan, you don't have a relic. If you can, you probably have your relic +1, because getting a relic +1 is much easier than beating hard mode Titan.
Yeah. I was kind of disappointed that there wasn't another criteria to fill beyond purchasing 3 items with myth tomes to +1 your relic.
Not even a cutscene.
Nothing.
Nope.
It's basically trade to the furnace. That's it.
Yeah, it's like, hey, remember how hard it was to get a relic in 11? Here's the opposite.
Yeah, see, I kind of take issue with calling them relic weapons, because the barrier to entry is just not there.
Right.
You don't have to grind like you did with Dynamis to be able to get a relic weapon from 11. And I see relics and relic +1s as sort of the baseline, like the way that people saw AF weapons.
Yes.
In 11 is kind of the way that I look at them in 14. We have not seen the ultimate pinnacle of what is supposed to be, the most difficult, the most trying content out of this game. And so therefore we haven't seen the best gear, the best weapons.
Well, it's something where people can expect you to have it. That right away eliminates that criterion, where, I mean, having a relic in 11 was, oh, wow, he's got a relic, it's going to be a good day.
Yeah.
Whereas in this game, it's like, what, you don't have a relic +1 in full dark light? Get lost, noob.
Pretty much. Because the barrier to entry is just not there. You don't have to fight for drops. You don't have to fight for, you don't have to fight for items. It's a pretty a ubiquitous reward system where everyone gets something out of doing it, and it's just grinding. That's all there is.
Yeah. Now, if they made it where you had to clear hard mode Titan and get a drop that only one could drop of,
right?
Now you would be looking at a barrier for entry.
Right.
Which, that said,
but it's also, but that's also an artificial barrier for entry too. It does. I feel like I preferred in 11. Because yes, well, there was drops and limited drops, and it seemed like a few people would benefit from the link shell system much more than the whole or the the entire group. I feel like there was at least a little bit more skill involved in 11 and the events that we were involved in 11 than there is comparatively to 14. 14 is just a lot of grinding. And I mean, I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm not trying to knock 14 because they've got to compete with less overall time that people can devote to MMOs. People want to be able to have a pick up and play style, but it just seems like for those people who are really extreme, like people who want an extremely difficult game, it's not here.
No, and unlike in days past, it's not like you could say go back and play 11 because it's disappeared out of 11 too at this point.
It has. So
there's not really an option out there if you want an extreme MMO. If you want an extreme MMO nowadays, I don't know.
EverQuest?
But am I wrong to pine for the days of for those days of 11 where
I don't think you're wrong to pine for it, but I think if they changed 14 to be more like 11, I'm not sure you'd like it at the same time.
I totally agree.
My former host Zays, he sent me this great link that said if you don't miss 11, you have no heart, but if you want it back, you have no brain.
That sounds about right. Like, that
was a great quote for it.
Because it seemed, and maybe I'm wrong here, but it seemed like 1.0 tried to tout that line a little bit more between, casual and hardcore, and it wanted all things at once. It tried to please too many people, and it pleased nobody. Effectively. So,
right.
I there is a certain amount of balancing, and it's either you go the EverQuest FF11 route, or you go the WoW Guild Wars 2 route.
Right, because given the option between easy and hard, people are always going to pick the easy way.
True.
So you can't have it cater to both ways.
Right.
It's one of those things where, this game is coming up on its first big patch after launch.
Right.
And this is kind of where people who play the game a little bit more hardcore, they would look to it and say, okay, here's where we're going to get a little bit more than just what they were going to make the launch. And it's underwhelming.
Right. Well,
it's horribly underwhelming.
It seems like all of that is slated for 2.22. We get... And this was one of the ones that
you cannot advance.
I kind of have to call you out, Eskalia. This is the one that you had gotten wrong on the last episode. Binding Coil Bahamut gets expanded in 2.2, not 2.21.
Oh, sorry for being the only one who knew anything.
But yeah, that's okay. We'll forgive you this time.
I doubt it. We'll hear about it after the show.
Well, I'll make sure that the emails get forwarded to you.
Oh, good.
But it seems it just with stuff like that, and granted, we haven't seen everything that 2.1 has to offer. There is a second live letter that's coming down the pike, December 14th. But, from everything that's been outlined, it seems like all we're getting for anyone who's at eye level 90 is the extreme mode primals.
Well, you find yourself sitting here thinking, with that second part of the live letter coming out, it better be damn good.
Yeah.
Anything. The extreme mode primals is cool.
Right.
Hard mode Haukke Manor, that's kind of cool, because I loved that raid. That one was so much fun.
It was. That was a fun raid.
Hard mode Ultima, not exactly shocking that they put it in there, but it was supposed to be unannounced. It wasn't supposed to be something we were going to know about.
Right.
But at the same time, everyone was like, as soon as you do it in Praetorium, you're like, yep, there's going to be a hard mode version of you at some point.
Yeah.
No, it's cool. There's stuff in it where you find something like, this should be in the game, but it shouldn't be the big focal point of the patch.
Yeah, and also with Crystal Tower supposed to be there at launch. You know what I mean? It just seems like they're still just playing catch up. And I don't mean to be super fucking critical of the dev team, because they pulled a miracle out of their asses. But it does seem underwhelming, and it does seem like for the people who have plugged in the time, plugged in the investment in the game, all they have really to do is level more jobs.
So let me ask you this.
All right.
Are we looking at 11 pre-Rise of the Zillart? Because if you think about what 11 might have been like pre-Rise of the Zillart, it probably would not have been very different than 14 where it's at right now. So do we need to not wait for the first patch, but we're waiting for the first expansion to where we're like, whoa, now we've got stuff to do?
That's an interesting question. I actually never considered that.
Yeah, that actually was, I was just tinkering around with that idea the other night. Like, this would actually look closer to 11 pre-Rise of the Zillart. I mean, you think about it.
Yeah, but
there was no advanced jobs. There was very little story to do.
We wouldn't have any context for that because only Japanese players would.
True. Yeah. So maybe actually let's, we need to get in touch with some Japanese people. Be like, hey, do you guys remember? I don't, because we got it.
Should we be worried? Is there?
Is it going to get better?
Yeah.
I hope it gets better. Are you guys gonna have tons of money again when we get into the game? Is that how this is gonna happen?
Should create a campaign for FF14 players. It gets better.
It gets better.
I think
that was called 1.0.
Right there. Yeah, that was the jump from 1 to 2. So there are a couple of new raids. Eskalia just mentioned hard mode, Haukke Manor, as well as Copperbell Mines. And a brand new 4-man dungeon that'll drop level 60 gear called Pharos Sirius. We did briefly go there during the storyline. That was the lighthouse out in Lenosia, I want to say. So that'll be cool. New instances to run instead of just spamming Wanderer's Palace or AK over and over again.
Good King Moogle.
Yes, good King Moogle.
I'm so pumped.
But
I'm the only one excited in the whole world, but I'm so pumped.
Why are you excited? Let me.
I just want to hear the song.
Oh, you just want the music.
I could go to YouTube and get the same effect, really. But really, from what I hear, it was a cool fight where parts of the fight actually synced up with the song. Where at one point in the song they actually yell off with his head, and that's where his ult got League on the brain, where his astral flow basically goes off, and if you're haven't killed enough Moogles at that point, the raid wipes, and so there's cool stuff. It's a cool concept for a fight, but I just want to hear the song.
But they're saying in this, because there were some Q&A questions from the live letter. They're asking how hard is Good King Moogle going to be, and they're saying that it's about on par with hard mode Garuda.
Yeah, that's not very impressive.
No, it's not very impressive.
Not to be fair, hard mode Garuda is a fun fight.
It is a fun fight,
but not.
And it took a couple of times for me to learn how to tank it properly. Yep. It is a big attention check for your tanks. But
as opposed to hard mode Titan.
Yes,
sit in the corner.
Oh my god, hard mode Titan was the easiest thing. Everyone pumped up hard mode Titan. I went 1 for 2.
Yeah,
granted, I have got a great free company that was able to help me through it, and all props to them. But I expected a little bit more out of that fight than just fire a cooldown before he table flips.
Everyone who had to shout group that fight is currently just what, Aniero, fuck you. That's what they're thinking right now. And the horse you rode in on, because. Yeah, if you, as a tank, you wouldn't really get the full gist of that fight. For the DPS and the healers out there who are running like chickens with their heads cut off trying to avoid moves, and for the healers, who got to keep you up. Every time he table flips, first he's doing Tumult 9 times, taking everyone down, and then he table flips at the end of it. You're like, oh my god.
Yeah. I'm gonna get emails. I know I'm gonna get emails like, "Oh, take your Dragoon into hard mode Titan and see how easy it is."
Yeah, exactly. People, and for all those of you actually, that's Aniero at limitbreakradio.com. Please fill up his email box.
Yeah. Well. But
actually, that could be a segment for FMFFL, right?
Yes. Yeah, we should bring some of that stuff.
Let's
back.
hear your Titan hard mode stories.
By the way, for those who haven't heard the old show, there was a bit that we used to do called FMFFL, which stands for, if you've ever been to the website FML, It stands for Fuck My Final Fantasy Life.
And now we can say that first word.
Yes, we can. I don't ever have to worry about bleeping it again. So it stands for Fuck My Final Fantasy Life. And basically what you can do is you can tweet us at LBRProd, or you can go to our website, limitbreakradio.com, and send us email, hosts at Limit Break Radio. You can also hit us up on our Facebook page. Just tag it with FMFFL, and we'll know to include it into that into that segment. And basically what you do, share your fail. Everyone has a good story of failing miserably.
Not me. I've never lost anything I've done.
Yeah.
I don't have any like that.
I'm sure you don't.
Except for being a Dragoon.
That's the greatest part about it, because I'm a Dragoon. It's like, nope, still haven't lost anything. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, right. Yep. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, share your stories of extreme fail and tag it with the FMFFL. We'll share it on the show. You know you want to. It'll be fun. By the way, I also want to send a huge shout out to a Laser Beam Raptors member, Loch Ness Monster, who helped me go 1-for-1 on Orem Vale when I was unlocking AK. And that, I think, is a true, remarkable feat.
That Malboro is a dick.
Fuck that whole instance. I'll never go back to that shit again. Never.
Did you get the pet?
No.
There's a pet drop.
I know there is, but I didn't get it because I don't care.
Man, like that one, like when all the other pets, like no pets are worth anything, but on my old server, like that pet was still going for like 10 grand.
Really?
Yeah, because no one wants to do that.
Nobody wants.
Like no one wants to go there.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas I suppose you can get the blocks out of.
I heard a rumor that somebody likes minions in this game, and that it's juxtaposition.
Who doesn't?
Juxta, I've heard you love minions, and that you love it when people of Sergeant Tannis send you minions. So everyone,
change my name, change my address.
Everyone on Sergeant Tannis, make sure you send first name Juxta, last name Position. Send them all your minions. Don't ever drop them again. Send them all to Juxta because he wants them all.
Man,
he wants to line them up on his windowsill.
I will send them back.
The only people who hate minions are people who haven't read the flavor text on minions. They're awesome.
And you will get 1 bat wing per minion you send me. In addition to the minion.
There you go. Exchange your minions for
are you low on bat wings? Got a solution.
So the one thing that is coming out for people with level 90 gear, extreme mode primals. Now they showed off a video of some of these, and we were talking about it on the pilot episode. And Eskalia, you were saying that you were hoping that Ifrit was going to be the hardest extreme mode fight. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case.
I wouldn't say I was hoping for it. I just thought it would have been the most fitting because Garuda was the hardest. Thematically, it would have. But no, I think once again it's going to be Titan.
It's going to be Titan. It's definitely going to be Titan.
Dear Lord in heaven.
If you haven't seen this video, we'll have a link to it on our website, limitbreakradio.com. You need to check this out because they were not fucking around at all. They were not. They were like, no, we're going to hurt you.
No, if you're thinking like, you know what, hard mode Titan, yeah, he was okay. He wasn't too hard. It's like, okay, well now there's going to be 2 people who go in the jail, and yes, it can be both of your healers. Oh, and while you're trying to dodge bombs, I'm also going to be doing more landslides. It's like, oh, great, that seems fair. And by the way, now if you don't win, it's not just that Tumult eventually kills you. He can just jump and knock everyone off the platform and say, no, game's over.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
That's nice.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound nice at all.
So that's, I guess you can look forward to that. You know who I feel really bad for? People who struggled a lot on Titan, because there has to be there has to be a lot of anxiety going back to extreme mode. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I mean, I went 1 for 2, and I know that people out there are like, man, fuck you asshole. But you know, you don't have much
to worry about.
No, I don't. But
hope this time he's hard to tank, and you have to move a lot as the tank or something. And then you can learn.
I could see that. I could definitely. I mean, with all of those landslides and all of the bombs, I could definitely see that.
Oh yeah.
To having a much higher attention check. I think Ifrit's going to be a higher attention check for the tank as well, because there's going to be one little specific spot where he doesn't have plumes up.
Yep, and you can he's going to be doing more linebackering. He's going to go for the quarterback sack on 5 different attempts. It's going to be pretty sweet. I don't know if any of you have seen that video where it's the one of the how to beat this primal, and it's Ifrit. Oh, and that's what they call it when he's like doing his like tackle. It's like he's going for the quarterbacks. Like, don't let them sack your quarterback.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
totally.
Love it.
Sports.
Yeah, bring some sports into the realm.
Sports reference.
Yes.
Guy stuff.
Like 6 people got that reference.
So the other thing that they're adding is the Duty Roulette, where you can get extra tomes and or XP out of it, if you can get XP, if you're at that point. I mean, that seems pretty cool. Extra tomes, that's a good incentive right there.
They're going to give you tomes for firing up your webcam and seeing someone dude's dick, right? That's what this is. Did I not read that right?
No, I think you're mistaken. That would be
don't get your hopes up.
Chat roulette.
Chat roulette.
Oh, my bad.
Yes.
That seemed like a really easy way to get tomestones. Just walk away from the computer, fire it up.
Damn. Have somebody do a wrecking ball video using Duty Roulette. Yeah. Be kind of awkward. That seems pretty cool. You
get the concept. It's there to make sure that,
of course,
people can get their low level raids done.
And not only that, but I think it might be helpful for someone like me who I just default to Wanderer's Palace. It feels like there's not much reason to do AK. There's not much more.
Isn't.
I mean, there's only 10 more tomes that come out of it? You get 40 instead of 30, right?
You get more myth tomestones. You don't get any more philo tomes.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's a longer dungeon.
It's twice as long. I could like my clear time record on Wanderer's Palace is 23 minutes, and I haven't done the thing where you pull all the mobs together. Like, people have been clearing in 10 minutes or less at one point.
Oh yeah.
But no, AK is you're putting in 50 minutes most likely.
Right.
There's no reason to do AK unless you need it for like the A Relic Reborn.
Right. Yeah. That's pretty much it. That's the only reason I ran AK even once was for the Relic.
Yep.
So this will be nice, and I really hope that Pharos Sirius and Haukke Manor and Copperbell mines, that they're about as long as Wanderer's Palace, because that's really what's gonna decide that. Who grinds what the most often is how much time are you spending in there versus the reward that you're getting. But with the Duty Roulette and getting a bonus out of it, I think that'll help, especially with like people who are trying to clear like maybe Castrum for the first time.
Yep.
I understand why they're doing it. I think it's a good idea. I don't know that I'm necessarily looking forward to it, but I know that I'll make use of it. So. And then one of the last things is that the Allagan armor and weapons that come out of Coil are getting just a reclassification. They're currently eye level 90. They're going to be bumped up to eye level 95. I don't think that they're going to see a stat increase. I don't think.
It's one of those things where it's just like, why?
Yeah,
why?
I don't. But if it's eye level 95, and I could be wrong. Is that technically higher than a Relic +1?
I think Relic +1 is 90.
Is it 90? Yeah.
I think so. I don't know off the top of my head.
So are the Allagan weapons actually better than Relic +1s? I haven't actually looked at any of the stats.
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. I think it's one of those things where, like, as far as I can tell, it might just be to make it so that your overall average eye level is higher. Maybe.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. That makes sense because there's gonna be an eye level check at some point.
But the eye level checks are pitiful so far. So I don't know. I do know that.
Do we already have eye level checks?
No. What they've announced though is it's pitiful.
Oh, okay.
It makes sense for some of them. Like the eye level check for Wanderer's Palace is stupid low, which it should be. Because if you're an AF, you should be able to do it. Wanderer's Palace is totally as far as
AF
Allagan versus Relic weapons, I have no idea. I know if you want your best gear, you're going to be mixing Relic and Allagan. It's not just full set of Allagan.
Right. Yeah. So I guess it comes down to the individual stats. I have not invested any time looking at Allagan gear. I unlocked Coil. I'm just not there yet. I want to get a couple of more pieces of Relic, and I want to get my Relic weapon +1.
I tried to do my first Coil run. And,
how'd that go?
Well, we entered.
Oh, okay.
We walked in before realizing that we were on the wrong part of Coil because someone was too far in when they tried to join up with us, and we dropped, and the group said fuck this, and that was it. So
that's lovely.
It was a rewarding gameplay experience.
Congrats.
Thank you.
That's just depressing.
It was like the third try where we like invited a full group and then someone was too far in and couldn't enter. And like finally we're just like, all right, this person takes us in and he's the one who's too far. And we're just like, you know what? Taco Bell sounds good right about now. Let's get out of here.
That's so frustrating.
That was our 2 hours of gathering well wasted.
God.
That did feel like 11.
I was going to say, that sounds remarkably like 11.
All right, time to go into Dynamis, and can't get the hourglass. Cool. Well, I'm going to go kill myself. Don't mind me.
Yeah. Someone's AFK. This is good.
Just feels like home.
So, all right. So let's move on to the Q&A. Yoshi-P and I forget who the other guy was. I feel like
was there someone else there?
I feel like a bad fan,
man.
The only one who's really worth.
You feel like a bad fan. You say you were mad that you had to get up early. I was mad that I had to get up 4 hours later to read what you wrote about it.
I didn't end up writing that much. I just took notes, but and really, it's. Getting up, I don't know that I'm ever going to get up for another live letter. I really don't. I thought like when I first heard about it, I was like, oh well, maybe we should do something where like we're live streaming at the same time. And no, that's fucking pointless. It's all in Japanese. There's no translation. All the translation is done by fans afterwards. Yep. Or actually, Matt Hilton does a great job tweeting the Q&A questions out on Twitter. So I mean, there is a purpose for watching it. I just don't think as a show that we can really do a whole lot with it.
No.
That's why I had tuned in. But yeah, so some interesting things coming out of the Q&A section. Eskalia, this one's right here for you. The Dragoon adjustments.
Yes.
Saying specifically we'll be making adjustments to recast times for Lancer and Dragoon, reducing the time in which movement is locked after jumping. That's a great thing.
Yep.
And improving the area where Dragoons land after jumping.
Right.
Which I seem to be a little bit... I'm confused a little bit by that statement, because the first jump, it sort of resets to where your position was originally,
right.
And then Spine Shatter jump, it takes you to the mob,
right?
Which I use those two jumps differently,
right?
And I actually like where they place me after the jump.
I think what that means, and this is just my theory on it, is like there's moves like evasive jump or elusive jump, elusive jump, where when you do those jumps, it counts you as being in both places at the same time.
Oh.
So if you can't use a jump to dodge a move.
Oh, okay.
And I believe that's what it's referring to fixing.
I gotcha. I guess that makes a little bit more sense.
So like if you use
it should be where you cast from. It should be where you use the ability from.
I think it depends. Like you say, for Spine Shatter jump, where you end up where you jump on.
That's true.
I think it should be there. Whereas for jump, I feel it should be where you cast from.
That's right. Yeah. No. Yeah. That's a good point. And overall, Dragoons will be receiving a 10% DPS boost.
And the animation lock change is so big because that's one of the
critical.
You cannot use, like in the Titan fight, I couldn't use my jumps.
Of course, yeah. Because if you get animation locked and then you get stuck in, like a landslide or something, you're fucked.
You're done.
You're done.
You had to take your jumps off, and at that point, like we talked about in the last show, is it more worth it just to play Lancer at this point if you don't have your jumps?
Well, because those are all of the Dragoon abilities. Right. Basically, you got jump, elusive jump, Spine Shatter jump, and then the last one.
And Dragon Fire Dive and Power Surge.
That's right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Jumping.
Level another job, Juxta. Goddamn.
I am.
Man, like
faster.
They should have just made it like only Dragoons can jump, like do the actual jump. Right. That would have been sweet.
Was it just general jumping?
Just the actual jump, like only Dragoons can do it. There's no other precedent for another job to be able to jump.
How long do you think it's going to be before Square Enix starts adding jumping puzzles randomly? Like Guild Wars 2.
A Toa Chasm? I don't know.
Yeah, they've got a little bit of a precedence for it.
Yeah, this Paradamo Tower. I hated climbing that mountain.
It's gonna be for something
How long
mandatory.
before there's a jumping puzzle? First expansion. I'll bet you first expansion there's something like that.
Sounds about right.
There was kind of a little bit of a jumping puzzle in Coerthus, I think. And that little ravine area.
Little ravine area.
The one where you go down and...
The witches drop?
I think. I felt like I had to jump to get around. Maybe there's an easier way, but I just jumped.
I feel like there are ramps, but that just people wander off the side of those things, and then they're like, oh, how did I get in this hole?
Oops.
Maybe, I don't know. I feel like maybe there has been one or two jumping puzzles somewhere.
And they're not puzzles like hard puzzles.
Right.
It's more like
Right.
if you want to get up here, you have to jump. kind of thing.
Jump on 3 ledges to get up here.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
No, I could see a legitimate jumping puzzle in like where you'll start seeing like moving platforms that you have to like actually land on to get from A to B.
No.
Oh, I'm telling you, like Binding Coil of Bahamut, like turn 12.
There you go.
Like there's no fights on it. It's just like a 2-hour-long jumping puzzle.
So there were questions asked about difficulty of Crystal Tower. The item level, the answer there, the item level you would need to take on this content is item level 55, which is so depressing. I'm glad that
Let's point out that makes it easier than Am to Poor Keep.
Though Crystal Tower will be expanded on in the future,
Right. So
which
maybe
is
there's
kind
just
of
the first few
ridiculous that we're
floors.
not getting the whole fucking event right out of the gate.
Well, I think it might be something along the lines of Binding Coil, where as Coil keeps going, Crystal Tower keeps going. I think it's going to be...
I think that they had mentioned offset, like this patch will be Crystal Tower, next patch will be Binding Coil, next patch will be
Which
Crystal
is just
Tower.
a fancy way of saying every other patch will be interesting.
Right, yeah. So, maybe the difficulty will increase as you go. They showed off a little bit of the Alliance mechanic, basically just the part of the HUD that they've added for the Alliance. I think it looks terrible. It really
Not the
does.
most impressive thing they've put out.
No. But, once... I don't know, maybe it'll... I don't know. I think it looks terrible.
Does the Alliance mechanic strike you as something that's necessary?
I get thematically for the dungeon why splitting up into 3 makes sense. I had played through the entirety of 3 and I had beaten it, so I do understand that mechanic that they're striving for. I worry about it though. I worry that there will be one party that goes in and dominates and then waits at the end for 40 minutes for a scrub party to catch up.
I was going to say, if we see the point where like you go in as a big group and there's 3 different objectives that have to be accomplished that are doable, and you actually have to break up, decide how you guys want to break up and go through it, have each group accomplish their objective to make the overall objective work, that could get cool.
Right.
There's so much potential for suckage.
Oh yeah, because you'll get someone stuck someplace, and then how do you help them through? They had said that there will be parts of the dungeon where everyone fights together, but that if one party is separated from another party, that party cannot come and assist this party that's scrubbing it up. Because how much of a bummer would it be to get through all of what you're doing for, your part of the floor, and then have a party that consistently fails on its face the whole time.
Right.
And they can't get to the boss room, or they can't get to the next part to clear it, so you can't advance because that party is stuck. That sucks.
It's one of those things where it'll be part of your free company and you'll be like, well, that's a bummer. It'll be part of your shout group and flame wars will erupt and it'll get ugly. It's just going to be one of those things. 4
people it can elicit enough drama to break down a run.
Right.
Doing this with what, 23 is the full number? 20 some odd.
24?
24.
24.
3 groups, 8.
8.
Lol.
Numbers. Now, hold on. So, it's going to be basically 3 parties of 8.
Yeah.
3 normal parties.
Right.
That's yeah. You can make your normal party, but you can't make the other 2 parties for the Alliance.
Right.
So when the whole group fights together, you're gonna have 6 tanks.
That sounds right.
What kind of fight will you need 6 tanks for?
That's actually kind of a good question. Now I'm actually.
This makes me think of take that annoying part of basically every other Final Fantasy game where you have to break up into 3 groups and maneuver through 2 different puzzles. Yeah, let's take that horribly annoying element and make a whole thing out of it.
You know what I hope it's not? You know what I hope it's really not? I hope it's not an entire wipe mechanic, throw in your next squad. I fucking hate. I have hated that mechanic ever since FF11, where planned wipe, send in the B squad. That's such a bullshit fucking mechanic.
Yep.
I'm thinking Pandemonium Warden was
Zombie wins.
Yeah, dude, that's such fucking nonsense. That is nonsense, and it's not a good way to program a fight, and it's not... I'm already getting worked up about it, and it's not even a definite thing, but I really hope that it's not. I sincerely hope that it's not.
Now, if it's going to happen, it needs to be something where, okay, Group A gets to the door, Group B has to go find the lever to bring the door down, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, you know,
LDM Necropolis nightmares.
I really can't see a situation where you need 6 tanks. If they could make a fight that required 6 tanks, I think that would be impressive.
I think that would be the kind of fight where it's like first person goes in, all right, once he dies, next person goes in, once he dies, next person goes in, like that. Because the only time I could see 6 tanks being a viable thing.
Well, the easy way to do that is to
5 ads.
Yeah, have a ton of ads.
Yeah.
But I think, and I'd like to put this challenge out there to the programmers and to the devs. I want to see a necessary 6 tank fight that is one mob.
A necessary 6 tank fight that is one mob.
Yeah, you're fighting one mob, so everyone is directing everything at one mob, but you still need 6 tanks to get through it somehow.
I know it. You're fighting some kind of multi-armed person, and each time there's a tank swap, the mob picks up the one tank and holds them for a full minute.
Actually, that's not a bad mechanic.
That's interesting.
That's not a bad mechanic.
The only other way I could think to do it would be if the mob had no AoE moves.
Okay.
If you only could beat up on one person at a time, so the first person's got to last as long as he can, and then the next person's got to last as long as he can, and so on and so forth.
It's not a bad idea. That's not bad. I like a tank being held for a full minute.
That's an interesting idea.
Another one. While the tank is actively getting beaten on, he has a debuff where he can't receive any healing.
Oh, okay. All right. That's kind of effectively the same thing, though.
I think that would become more of a hate swap marathon.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, yeah.
Maybe once a tank has been hit, he can't take healing.
I don't know. There could be some really interesting stuff to do in Crystal Tower. I think everyone is going to at least check it out for the difficulty and check it out for the content. Whether they stay and grind gear out of it, that I think is the real question.
By the way,
and if people aren't going to grind it almost endlessly, why put it in the game at this point?
I don't know, but if they do come out with a 5-armed mob, I think Juxta needs to sue them or go after. That was my idea.
I think they have a 5-armed mob. What was that guy called? Gilgamesh?
Gee, he was in enough games. We ought to know.
He's not very big though, so
I think he only had 4 arms, didn't he?
I can't remember.
Excalibur. Those are the only 2 everyone knows, and I don't know any others.
So, but the question came up and got put to the devs, why should coil-ready players do Crystal Tower? The answer there, you'll be able to obtain equipment that can then be used with the Vanity system that we will be implementing later, and you can also obtain equipment for your alternate classes and jobs.
Translation, because we fucking said so.
Pretty much. I really hate this justification of, get the gear because vanity.
Get the gear so you can steal it from people who might actually need the gear.
Right. How about you tell us what the vanity system is and whether it's going to be worth it? Then maybe we'll have some interest in it.
Yeah, that would be... because any system that... Or any MMO that has some kind of vanity system... there are restrictions that come with it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know because the last MMO I played like this was 11, but Juxta, do you know is that a thing? If you do some sort of vanity thing where you change the appearance of an item, does it come with some kind of restriction or debuff for the item?
Well, for WoW, what you do is you just have to pay a hefty toll or a hefty gold amount.
Okay.
You get to keep both items, but then it's pretty much the same. I think in Guild Wars 2 for the vanity thing, it actually eats up the item.
Oh, okay.
So that sucks if you actually need to upgrade something. Or whatever.
Right. Yeah, it'll be interesting when they start talking about the vanity system, what it's going to be, how it's going to be able to be utilized. But the justification of, we're putting out content that is below where you are with your character, just do it for vanity. I think that's a bad
It's a cheap cop out, and it's like you want us to get gear for other jobs. What do you think we're doing right now? We already have gear for our main jobs.
Well, and it's just who do you cater to at this point in the game? Are you trying to gain more people? Because I'm not sure that Crystal Tower is going to be bringing anyone to the game. I understand that it bridges a gap that exists.
Right. Who out there is thinking, oh my god, this is what I was waiting for. This is the one. Now I'm going to start playing 14.
Well, no,
well, that's the Lightning Strikes event.
Oh, lol. As you said earlier, there is not an eye roll big enough.
I'm literally killing Aniero with that statement.
Oh god, yes. I'm dying slowly. But it seems like the people that you want to cater to are the people that you got out of launch, right? Because those are the people who are invested in the game at this point. I don't know how many more people are going to be picking it up. I don't know what the sales numbers look like. But I mean, they came out with the statistic that 1.5 million subscribers are currently subscribed to FF14, and that's such a huge huge improvement over the numbers that even FF11 had at its peak.
Here's a really interesting question. So you were able to buy 1 month, 3 month, or 6 months, right?
Right.
I want to see what the numbers look like after that 6 month drop off, because a lot of people looked at it, were really excited with the game, like myself. Bought the 6 months, and I'm still happy with the game.
Sure.
That said, I want to see when that first 6 month expires, how many people renew.
Yeah,
I'd be very curious to see that number.
That is a really good question, and and again, do you really want your core player base, your high level player base,
pissed?
No, do you want them sitting around waiting for another patch for 6 months? I mean, it seems like the patches aren't coming out as fast as they should. The 2.1 was supposed to be out in November, and now we're waiting till the end of December to get it. Yep. In fact, the official patch date is December 17th, 3 days before my birthday. So it seems like, okay, we're pushing content back. We're getting content that the end game community of this game is not going to find incredibly engrossing or engaging or even wanting to grind it out. So for those people that are at coil level, if they've got all of their Allegan gear, why should they log in?
Right. And I think that was just your way of getting people to send you presents for your birthday.
Yeah, I definitely caught that. Is the vanity system coming in 2.1?
No, it's not. It's not in 2. They haven't slated it for which patch it's supposed to come out in. It could be in 2.3. It could be in 2.4. We have no idea.
Could be first expansion.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. We just don't know. Which is kind of... like, if that's the reason that we're supposed to be grinding this content, you got to give me a little bit more. You just got to give me a little bit more.
Yep. Now there's also a thing about, keep in mind for PvP, they want PvP to be this big focus, and yet they've come out and said that they're only expecting about 20% of people to do PvP. Why are you then making it a big focus?
Yeah, and
most people who play
a lot of people
11.
A lot of people have said that 2.1 is the reason that there is no level 90 content beyond extreme primals is because they want to start funneling people into PvP, or they want to try to funnel people into PvP to get a higher percentage out of that than just 20%.
Well, I don't know. Having come from 11, I don't care about PvP.
No, I don't either. Juxta, are you excited for PvP?
I wouldn't say excited, but I'm definitely interested in checking it out. If only for the reason of those fucking armors are amazing.
The gear that they've showed off that might be coming out of the PvP arena, which is the Wolves Den. Is that what it's called?
Wolves Den.
Yeah. It looks spectacular, and I mean, if that's stuff that you can wear outside of PvP, if that's stuff that you can wear outside of the Wolves Den and it's got good stats on it, then people might actually do that.
That would be such a gutsy call to make some of the top tier gear be PvP only attainable.
Or at least that it would run parallel with the top tier gear.
So that you could either go get Allegan gear out of Coil,
right,
or be God of PvP.
Right.
You have your choice. That would be sweet.
That would be kind of cool, and I think it would funnel at least a serious amount of people into the PvP arena.
Mm-hmm. Is Wolves Den coming out in 2.1?
Who knows?
I think it might be. It was not touched on in this live letter.
Yeah,
but there is one more live letter again, December 14th, before we find out everything that 2.1 is going to be tossing at us. So I want to say yes. I want to say that the Wolves Den is coming out in 2.1 because they're already beta testing it.
I'm actually interested to see how Final Fantasy XIV handles PvP, because it does not seem like a very action-oriented game. And PvP is typically really relies on reflexes and whatnot.
Yeah, reflexes and twitch. It will be interesting. I'm wondering if other people's moves will be telegraphed.
I think it's going to be a lot like it was in Tor and WoW. It's going to be a lot of the same concepts, I would have to imagine.
I just can't see Black Mage not utterly dominating everything.
Right now, Black Mage would stomp in PvP.
Yeah, there's definitely going to have to be some balancing there.
Yeah.
There definitely has to be.
I mean, you look like, as much as I hate to bring up WoW on the show, you look at jobs like Mage on WoW, where they were sweet in PvP, but there were things like, Thief could go stealth and camo to get right up behind you and then kill you. So there were balancing issues.
Yeah, I wonder if there's going to be PvP only abilities.
That's possible.
Or have abilities like the hate moves function differently in PvP.
Right.
Maybe it's going to be turn-based combat.
God. So let's see the next question out of the Q&A, and we just tried to truncate the Q&A down to some of the most important stuff. So if there's questions that you have about 2.1 that didn't get answered out of what we decided is the most important stuff, make sure you check out that Q&A. There's a lot of different places that you can check it out, including the official FF14 Twitter. But the question there is, will we get tomes out of Tower? And while they will be getting philosophy and mythology tomestones at the start of patch 2.1, we plan on implementing additional types of tomestones in the future.
Yay, more tome grinding.
What? How many tombs do we need? We're already getting close to Final Fantasy amounts of currency. Where it's
I know. Yeah, between seals, gil, and tomestones. I mean, what's next? Zenny?
Zenny was awesome.
No, it wasn't. All of those arbitrary
points, allied notes,
Crewer, Bald. What the fuck was that other?
Bailed, Bailed.
What was that stuff for ZNMs?
Wasn't that Zenny?
That was Zenny, wasn't it?
Or no, Jettons. No, that was for Pancratium.
Pancration, that was great.
No, Pancranium.
What was
Pancranium.
What was the thing for? We don't care about. I love
No. What's that game? I didn't play that.
So yeah, but we kind of knew that it would be Square Enix's kind of. They sort of set the tone there with FF11. There's going to be a million different types of seals and points and stones and whatever. And this was the other thing that I wanted to bring up with the vanity gear is slots in my retainer are becoming very rare indeed. And seriously, they need to do something about item storage.
I'm pretty sure we're going to get more retainers.
I'm also pretty sure that they're going to be expanding the armoire.
Well, that'd be nice. Once we get player housing, there'll probably be storage eventually.
That's true.
So we'll probably see a lot of more options for storing items, because in this game, I think you need to store a lot more crap.
Well, you don't have gear swapping like you did in 11, so there were a ton of inventory slots that I had taken up by gear.
That's true.
Out of 80 inventory slots on Ninja, I had 6 available to me for random drops.
I think Zeramero had 76 pieces of Black Mage armor, so he had 4 spaces.
So the question came up about item storage. Additional retainer services couldn't make it in time for patch 2.1. Why?
Yeah.
Adding that little piece of code that says from 2 retainers to 3, it takes a little bit, so it's understandable.
So we will be increasing the amount of items that can be stored in the armoire. So
cool.
Yay, I guess. It would be nice to have any of the dungeon gear or primal weapons. Those things would be nice to store in the armoire because you don't want to necessarily drop the primal weapons. Nice to have.
It's history.
Yeah.
I've got like 7 books.
If I had a mannequin, I would put them on my mannequin.
If I had a library shelf, I'd put them on my shelf. All I ever got was freaking books.
So, a question was asked about a feature kicking from the Duty Finder.
Yes.
We will be adding this in patch 2.1. It will be a vote kick style system, and there will be limitations when using it. This is so fucking necessary.
Right. How was this not already here?
Yeah, why was this not in from day one? And no more apparent than when you get some dickhead tank that...
Like Aniero.
Yeah, right. That just, will stand outside of the boss room and bitch the party out, or you know what I mean, just shit like that. It'd be nice to be able to have some recourse to kick those dicks.
Tell us how you really feel.
So let's see. Another question asked here: can the duty roulette be used with 2 or 3 people? This is a feature that can currently only be used while solo. We will be updating this in the future to support parties with multiple people. Again, I'm not sure why this functionality doesn't exist from day one. I just don't. And maybe I don't know enough about programming, but it doesn't seem to make any sense.
Well, when you hire your programmers off Craigslist, that's what happens. If
the intention is that it's going to be there down the line, why not just start with it? I don't know. Seems pretty simple to me.
Craigslist.
And the last question we'll cover here from the Q&A: will they add Chimera, Hydra, and Coil to the Duty Finder? While it may not make it by patch 2.1, we do have plans to add Dome, Chimera, and Hydra fights to the Duty Finder. However, we currently have no plans on adding the Binding Coil of Bahamut. Please make use of the party search feature that will be added in patch 2.1. And that's, I think, the first that we've heard about the new party search feature in patch 2.1. So I guess that'll be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Chimera and Hydra were not that difficult to find or form parties for. I don't know why it's necessary for them to be a part of the Duty Finder. I guess it would be nice if you're trying to pool resources, but there's enough people that are working on relic weapons. It's really when people move off the content that you would have a problem.
It's things like Castrum now.
Castrum is a problem. You got to queue up for fucking 40 minutes before you can get into Castrum.
Or any raid that's not part of the storyline.
Right.
Have fun with that.
Right. I'm almost surprised that they had chosen Haukke Manor and Copperbell mines as the two that they were going to go back and redo, as opposed to I don't know what's the mid-level one that people have to grind for their hunting logs.
Oh,
Cutter's Cry.
Cutters is one of them.
Yep.
What's the other one? The one that you said you had a lot of trouble with.
Not Stone Vigil?
No,
Sunken Temple of Karn.
Yes, Karn.
Hell with that place.
Terrible. And then there's another one. There's a third one that kind of goes along in that arc too.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one it is.
I had to go through that one, and I don't remember what it was either.
If I could bring up my Duty Finder, I'm sure I'd see it.
Yeah. But it seems like those dungeons and those instances get so much less use. I mean, Haukke Manor is already part of the storyline. Copperbell, I don't know that anyone goes to Copperbell. I don't know that I've even ever been to Copperbell.
I think I did it, but I don't remember.
I don't think I ever did it.
I think I did.
I don't think I ever did.
We need to like get like fans to like swarm the forums and just like can
we don't have forums.
No,
or the official forums.
The official forums.
Okay, yeah.
Just keep asking Yoshi who his favorite LBR host is until he answers it.
The answer would be Juxta.
Probably.
That's obviously.
Yes, we don't even need to ask.
Juxta is the favorite, remember?
The favorite of everyone.
Come on, get with it.
For who?
I know this is only your second time here.
Everyone.
Well, when I was a listener, Juxta wasn't the favorite.
That's because people were confused.
Okay. They were Juxta curious.
All right, well, that's going to do it for the first section of this episode. And be on the lookout. We've got 2 more hours for you to enjoy here coming in the next 2 weeks. Make sure you check out limitbreakradio.com Mondays for new episodes of Limit Break Radio, A Radio Returns. I'm Aniero for Eskalia, Ryumasa, and Juxtaposition. Keep listening.
Limit Break Radio is a production of LimitBreakRadio.com and Bender Media Productions. Final Fantasy XIV is a trademark of Square Enix. Opening music in this episode from Daniel Lambie. Listen to Man with the Machine Gun and other great tracks at Facebook.com/Daniel Lambie Metal Gamer. Closing music provided by Husky by the Geek. Listen to this and other great Final Fantasy XIV covers at Facebook.com/Husky by the Geek. Limit Break Radio and its hosts are solely responsible for its content.